start in a sec. I think it's all right. Well, hopefully so a few more of folks will join us, but welcome to, I think this is our 5th school closure webinar. We're so happy you guys join us week after week. We love seeing your faces and meeting with you. That's been one of the nice things about the school closure. Most things have not been wonderful, but being able to see all of our library peeps every week has been really nice. And we look forward to it. So some good news, the Virtual Libraries in Action page is getting a lot of traction from the district. If you didn't see, we were featured on Facebook, we were featured on Twitter, and we were featured in the source and the link. So it's good. We're getting to be visible. People are seeing what we're doing, and our work so often is invisible that I'm really glad that this page is helping to make what we're doing visible, because otherwise we could blend into the scenery while we're closed. There isn't a physical space, and they wonder, what do we do? And now people are able to see, and they're able to access the resources. It's gone out to parents, and I think that's a really good thing for all of us. And with that, please, please, please use the hashtag when you're tweeting. Searching that, you can see the amazing things that are happening in our district, and it makes me smile when I search it, because the things that are going on in our district and our libraries are amazing. And if you haven't already emailed me a link to your Google site, to your document, to whatever it is you're using for your virtual library, please email it to me so I can put it on our page. We are up to 57 libraries on that page. I would love to see even more. So if you have one and you haven't sent it to me, please, please, please send it to me. Friday morning, well, tomorrow morning, we are partnering with EdTech for a live stream virtual collaboration for student success. Kimberly Bauer, Tony Lipscher, Lisa Petrosha, and Suzette will be the panelists, and they will be in a conversation with John Long about collaboration with your media specialist. Please invite your faculty. Please come. We want to have a really lively conversation in the chat off to the side, and we want to give people an idea about how they can collaborate with their media specialist. We'd love to see more and more collaboration happening, and I think this conversation can help start that collaborative process. I sent everybody a calendar invite, but please send them a link to the YouTube at your faculty and ask them to come join and be a part of the conversation. Tuesday, May 19th, we are having a Google Hangout with Kim Davick from Teaching Books. She's going to join us to discuss ways to use teaching books to enhance your library program. That should be a great session, and we hope to see all of you there. And I'm going to turn it over to Holly with a few announcements.
So you want to give us that other slide, Lisa?
I can.
So by now you've seen my sad email about the situation with Mac and Via for at least until July 1st. There is a very hard budget freeze, and we did pursue this, and it was rejected as a purchase for now. So it wasn't for lack of trying. I think they're holding hard onto department budgets, even harder than they're holding on to school budgets. Just a guess, like a gut feeling. I did hear from several middle school people that they confirmed with their bookkeeper that internal account money can still be used with a waiver. So if you're interested in having any Mac and Via ebooks, but if you concerned about having the SSYRA FTR books available, you could make a purchase maybe through internal accounts, or canvass your principal and talk about how valuable these are, particularly now, and how you could promote them. Who does the waiver, Elizabeth? I guess whoever's putting in the order. I know we do them ourselves, but it's because it's our order. So it's in forms somewhere. But I never say emphatically any rules that apply to a school because I haven't been school-based in so long. I guess your bookkeeper is a good starting place for that. Or your principal will know about the waiver process, but it's a form. Yeah, it definitely needs the principal sign off, Sarah. Yeah, it's that kind of piece. And depending on the amount, I think it goes up the food chain, so to speak. But this would be a really small purchase when you're talking about 15 copies of 15 titles in the ebook format. For you, it would be fairly small. So I would think it would only need, limited approval. But that's my suggestion for trying to keep your readership going, or adding whatever. It doesn't have to be FTR. Add books so that they have something fresh, and then encouraging them to tap into the public library system. I had a conversation with Adam Davis just last week. We're partnering on something for the elementary schools, but in that conversation, he confirmed that they are pivoting and looking hard at their digital resources and spending money in that direction, and confirm that the SSYRA and the Florida Teen Reads would be part of that. I made sure I sent him copies of all the lists and said, these are important to our people, to our students, to our librarians. And so they should be appearing in their digital catalogs. And they do have that opportunity to get an e-card that will last. And I'm sure they'll keep extending it as long as the physical spaces are closed. So yeah, that's kind of our situation with Mac and Via for now. We're hoping for better come the rollover to FY21 budget. And so I hope if you do invest in copies, that you won't feel like you wasted your money if we are joyfully able to buy district-wide copies. It'll just be an extra copy for you. So that I have my fingers crossed for that, and we'll try that again. But we're getting sort of bleak hints about nothing specific, but very sad faces when we ask about budgets for next year. Very, very sad comments. So it's hard to be hopeful in terms of being able to buy material, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So just wanted to follow up that email with a little, some ideas about what you could do on your end if you so choose. So that's pretty much my end of it, Lisa.
Yep, and that was pretty much my end as well. We wanted to open it up for questions for you guys about end of the year procedures, anything else that's on your mind, give you a chance to just ask away. I think we're all feeling a little kind of blah.
While you guys are contemplating, what your questions are, I did forget to take an opportunity to do a shout out to John Long for creating an opportunity for us to talk in a virtual format. They had a very successful teacher panel last week where the teachers discussed the distance learning and the teaching with technology situation, and the idea for the panel with the media specialists was following on the same theme, making sure that teachers and school administrators were aware that school librarians are involved in this distance learning as well, and they have something to offer, and they have guides to offer, and they are an information touch point for students and teachers. And so that's really what the conversation is going to be about, what media specialists have done, what they can do in the distance learning situation. Because I'm watching the news. I'm seeing a lot of states that are talking openly about their plans to go back. They involve some sort of blended learning, some sort of alternate days. We may see a very different situation in September. We won't necessarily, I'm guessing, I have no information about Palm Beach County. I'm just seeing what's in the education news, the concepts that are out there. And hey, our county is one of the ones that isn't released into that phase 1 opening because of our situation. So who knows? You know, we may be very restricted, and the distance learning thing may go on in some combo. This is a great, meeting that John's doing is a great opportunity. Get in that chat, throw in what you've been doing, answer people's questions, support the panel, invite your teachers to listen. And he said he had great conversation in the teacher one. So I'm hoping for great conversation in this one. And again, keeping us visible for whatever happens as we go forward. I think it's a super opportunity. So
Deb just threw out in the chat if anybody filled out the education survey from the governor. Anyone want to chime in about that?
My question too, Elizabeth, I didn't see it, but then I must have missed a venue. So how'd you get it, Deb?
It was in an update from Vern, and I will send it to you, Holly, and you can push it out. You just click on it. It just takes a couple minutes, but it addresses going back to school and what would you feel comfortable with.
Oh,
and go back. So I'll look for it and I'll send it to you.
All right, thanks, Deb, and I'll share it out if you think that's all right with Vern.
Oh no, that's why he sends it.
Okay.
Jared had been sending it out to FAME, but I'll send it to you and you can send it out to Palm Beach County.
Okay.
I must have gotten it as a parent. It came to my school board email, but it must have come as a parent. And it was interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe
you got it because of Leadership Florida, Lisa.
Oh, that's entirely possible as well. It's hard to know exactly what venue it came from, but my husband got it as well. And they were interested in what we would feel comfortable with in terms of opening. And when would we be comfortable with school opening, in August? Would we want to wait till September? And I think it's important that we weigh in
yes,
as education professionals.
Yeah, everybody can read Amy's comments in the chat, and I kind of feel the same. I'd like a little bit more information about what are we walking back into, literally, especially being on the older end of the educator spectrum. What are we putting ourselves in for? So
I can forward this survey to anybody because I received 2 of them. My problem with some of the questions I thought I could answer, but it wouldn't let you just choose the ones you wanted to answer. But some of them didn't give you an option that I, felt comfortable with. So if I only had A through D and I felt comfortable with none of those, then I just chose not to participate because there was it's like they want us to tell them what to do. And I'm sorry, I don't have the big picture. I don't have all the info from the CDC and everything else. I'm not in a position to make those decisions. So I just got very frustrated myself with the survey as a parent and as an employee that would be going into that building to work. So I just responded. It did allow me to reply to the email. So I did reply to the email with my opinion.
Good.
Not that they'll read it probably, but I couldn't in good faith complete the survey.
No, right. And that doesn't make for a very valid survey when there's not an option for some sort of other applicable. I'm not sure. Yeah, that doesn't seem very good. It's almost like they want to funnel the group of answers they get to the 4 things they're considering.
Right.
Instead of none of the, no, I don't agree with any of these. Don't do this.
Right.
Yeah, that's not really fair not to have that option.
I did like the option on several of the questions that where it would comply with CDC guidelines. Mm-hmm. So, and that's when I didn't really know, that's what I defaulted to on the survey because I trust them, that they're going to try and do the right thing for the most part.
I don't
The
trust
CDC, maybe.
No, I don't know that I trust the CDC right now either with the
And they
recommendations
don't
they're
trust
making
the
with the
World
meat
Health
packing plant.
Organization
So,
either.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not the World Health, but
No.
I did at least go to that default of the CDC guidelines because they've been the most restrictive of the guidelines. But it's hard to know what's right in all of this because we get
Yeah.
so much information. And
yet so little information.
right,
So little
so little
pertinent
good,
information.
right. And this is actually a really good opportunity for us to teach our students to sift through all of the information and to find out what is the good information. It's a really good time to focus on news literacy with our kids. Just a thought.
Well, it's interesting because like my children who are both teenagers, 18 and 16, they don't watch TV. They don't watch cable news. They don't watch local news. They get all of their news on their social media apps. You know, they don't watch a TV unless it's Netflix. you
Yeah.
know, so it's
Yeah.
interesting to see the difference in how different parts of our population access their news and how reliable they are. Like I'm like, okay. I'm like, Ellis, show me what you're reading. you know,
Exactly.
I need to get them to teach me what they're getting because when I go into Suncoast, and I'm trying to teach them how to, evaluate the news sources, we got to evaluate what they're looking at, not what we're looking at.
Right.
They're not looking at the same things. So.
Right. But and not everyone's children have a parent who knows how to teach them how to sift through all of this material.
Yeah.
I would
and
say
we get to be
probably
that.
none do. It's pretty widespread.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's where we get to be not parent, but we get to at least help them narrow down to what's good information and what's not. And that's a good point that you put up, Elizabeth, that your doctor has made it clear that you need to be prepared to not go back in the fall. And it's hard to know what that will look like and if that's okay. And can we remain working remotely because of health reasons?
Yeah, that is a great question and a concern, I'm sure, for a lot of people.
Well, that will depend. A lot of that will depend upon what our government does, what our leadership does. Because if there's an order saying we have to go back to work, just like in the meat processing plants, we'll have to go back to work.
Right.
Right.
We won't have an option. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
And once again, the deep cleaning of the school that happened, right after we all got sent home. Same trash and hair extensions and pens. It's all still on the floor in my media center. They haven't touched it. To be honest, they haven't cleaned it in the 11 years we've been in that new media center. So between that and textbooks.
Yeah, it's an issue.
It is.
Right. And that's another a good point, Elizabeth. We don't know what we're going to be walking back into in terms of what our spaces are going to be looking like. People are in them and we haven't been in them.
Right.
Been able to put our eyes on them, keep them in the kind of condition that we would want to keep them in. So it's going to be a very interesting opening to the school year next year, whatever and however it looks.
That's not good news, Elizabeth, that your space doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not uplifting news.
It's not. Does anyone have any questions we can answer for them? Maybe about the end of the year stuff we actually have some knowledge on. I wish we had a bigger picture about what the opening would look like, but nobody really knows. Amy, I'm sure you can speak to this, but even the colleges don't know.
Although UF is going forward with housing plans. I mean, Austin they just got an email about finalizing his housing for the fall. So they're still moving forward with that,
And Wash,
at least.
yeah, Wash U is as well, but they're saying they're planning to open up, but they have all kinds of contingency plans in place for not being able to open. So, it's really hard to know what's going to happen for the fall.
Yeah.
So, but we can focus on ending our year on a positive note and trying to report our data the best we can and paint our school libraries in the best possible picture, because our libraries are amazing and our media specialists are amazing, and we want to report that and share out that good news as much as we possibly can.
I see, Lisa, I see Sue Hale has a question about the end of the year survey. What specifically did you want to ask about, Sue Hale? It was there. Want to know more about the survey?
Yes, what to put in how I organize the last question that we have on the survey. I have it open, but how we use, I don't know how to explain.
About talking about what your value added is to your school?
Yeah.
That question?
Yeah.
We're collecting that information. We wanted anecdotal evidence about the situation as it's been. In the flip to online, we know for a fact that all of you have been making an impact and a contribution, but having examples that we can share with upper leadership that are in, not to adopt a term, but in own voices from you guys in the field at your schools is very powerful. I mean, we know that you're making a contribution, but we wanted to have like it'll create like a database of anecdotal evidence about what your value has been to the school in this situation. And we just wanted to document it. It has nothing to do with not understanding that you are valuable. We wanted documentation that we could use.
Okay.
So
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for filling out the survey.
And in terms of the documentation, I thought you guys might want to say, I don't know if you've been on this page. It's so nice to see how different everybody has approached this school closure and their virtual libraries. Everybody's personality is coming through. The needs of their students are coming through. And that evidence is just one more way we can share with upper leadership exactly the impact you have on your school. It's been wonderful to see a lot of people coming outside of their comfort zones. Non-techie people have been doing techie things, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Alonzo at scrolling too fast at Eagles Landing, he is the most technologically challenged media specialist I know. He's afraid of technology, and he was one of the first ones to jump in with a virtual media center site. So it's been great to see the growth in people who were afraid to use technology. People who weren't collaborating before have jumped in and tried to collaborate. And we want to be able to report that and to curate that. Thanks, Sue Heil, for finishing the survey. We really appreciate it. But if you haven't had a chance to take a look through some of these, take a look through them. It's truly amazing what everyone's been creating. One of my favorite ones is Julie Greens from Okehely. She is doing a virtual tour of Nashville on there. And she's created little videos. It's adorable. It's really great to see. Does anyone have any other questions about the end of the year, procedures? So the survey, Allison, I sent out last Friday. I don't remember the headline of the email, probably was end of year procedures. But Holly has placed a banner at the top of Library Current. And if you click there for the survey, it will open up. So easy enough to get. If you can't find the email, it is right there. If you need all of the resources that we talked about last week, they're on the end of year procedures page. as is the recording of last week's webinar, the overdue reports, the end of the year to-do list, the library book return plan, and the CDC guidelines for disinfecting returned library books, and they issued those guidelines with the Institute of Museum and Library Services. So that was on everyone's mind. So we made sure that was easy to get to. Any other questions? We had a really short presentation today, but we didn't want to not meet because we like meeting with you every week and getting to chat. Anyone has a question, they can just unmute their microphone and ask away.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to make a comment. I finally got a chance to go in and look at the training on Adobe Spark and play with it. And I was meeting with my reading club yesterday. I had 16 people in my reading club live meet yesterday. And
yay!
The president of my club, she wants to do a website for our poetry club. So I showed her, how to go in and use Adobe, is it Sites? I'm still on it. And so she's going to use that to create the site, but she was not aware that that was in her portal, Adobe Spark. So I'm realizing that my students don't realize they have that as a tool. So she was so excited about that. And I was wondering, does anyone else like instructing their students and using that product?
The only one I know that's doing active instruction with it is Caroline Epstein at Binks. She's had a bunch of kids do projects with it. But if you follow Tanya Avrith, the amazing projects that she did with Adobe Spark, oh my goodness, it's a great tool to share with your students and to share with your teachers, and a great way to get your kids presenting their information visually. We always ask for written things, and this gives them another outlet. Right. Oh, Sarah, I like that your students are creating blogs with Adobe. It's a great way to do that. The Spark pages are really visually beautiful. And I would think that at Dreyfus, it would be a great way for your kids to express themselves because they're very artistic in some way, shape, or form. And it allows them to express themselves that way. I played around with a lot of the graphics, and I made a Spark site for a training that didn't happen, but it was a lot of fun to do, very easy to do. I like it. And it's another offering we can give our teachers and our students. So I like the idea of using the Spark post for social media. And it's great because it's free, and we get an upgraded subscription to it. We have all of the professional things are included. The general free subscription is less robust. So any other comments, questions, anything they want to talk about before we sign off? I guess with that, I will stop recording.
Hello? Can you hear me? Not sure if this will. Oh, okay, good. Hey.
Hi, Mike.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
I
Mike.
wasn't sure if this was working. Quick question, because I came in late, very late, like 2 minutes ago. Was there anything brought up, or has the district said anything about returning library books? Textbooks, I don't even deal with, so I don't care about those.
No,
But is there a district policy, or is it kind of?
Not that has been passed to us through Nolan, and you would think that Nolan would be part of that process, being that he's the manager of instructional materials. So as far as I know, there isn't a universal plan. There were schools and I can't even remember which one, where media specialists mentioned to me, oh, my principal says there may be a day in May and we'll collect things and whatever. I don't know where they got that information or plan. So we don't know of anything official,
Right.
district-wide policy. We just, we're waiting to hear, just like you guys.
Right. Mike, if you look on the end of the year procedures page, we have our ideas for how to get those books back next year, and for things that are postponed until the fall and things that are postponed until the spring. And that might at least give you a place to start. So, bye, Amy.
Bye, Amy.
So I'm going to stop recording. It was great to see you guys. If there's anything you want to discuss with us offline, let us know.